Hey, good morning, everybody. It is yours truly, TJ Jones, Timothy J. Jones. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is, I guess you can call it an impromptu show. If you notice, I'm not at home. I'm actually in Vicksburg, Mississippi, man. I'm visiting my mom where I'm at my mom's house right now. I actually came down for a funeral that will take place on Saturday. My great aunt, Miss Martha Lewis, passed away, and just came down to pay my respects to her. Me and a pac man came down, and we drove, man, from South Carolina to Mississippi, and that is not an easy hike, man. That is not a hop, a skip, and a jump. It's about 11 and a half hours, man. I guess you can probably round it off to 12 if you make stops. But it's great to be back, visiting my family. Got opportunity to see my grandparents. Paxton got opportunity to see his great grandparents, which is an honor, man. Like the fact that my grandparents are still here, and he has opportunity to be able to go see them and talk to them. And my grandfather, he raises chickens, so Paxton got a kick out of seeing those chickens. And but it's great to be back, man. And thank you all for waking up this morning, clicking on here on YouTube. Like I said, this is not really an episode of the State of the Saints podcast. I guess technically it would be, possibly because this is the State of the Saints podcast channel. But what I'm doing this morning is I'm answering your questions, and the reason I'm doing that is, number one, we all know that between this downtime right after mini camp, the next thing that is of importance is training camp, and you have like a lot of dead air when it comes to the team because nobody's really doing anything. And there were a few signings that the Saints made on Thursday. They signed a hometown guy, Roderick Teamer. They picked up Mac McClain, the former Philadelphia Eagle. I think he played a little bit with the Broncos. He played in the UFL with the San Antonio Brahmas. And honestly, man, I think the dopest thing about Mac McClain, not the fact that the Saints picked him up, but his grandfather is a pioneer, man. Mac McClain went to North Carolina A&T, and his grandfather was one of the Greensboro Four. Some of you may not know what that is or who they are, but there were four individuals that tried to integrate a Woolworks diner down in Greensboro, North Carolina, and Mac McClain's grandfather was one of those four men. So he has that. He has that in his blood, man. So that was pretty dope. That's probably the most impressive thing to me about Mac McClain. I mean, I've got opportunity to see him play. Of course, North Carolina A&T is one of the best HBCU football teams in the country. They always find themselves in that Heritage Classic quite often. So it's good that the Saints are trying to add a little bit of depth to their team. We know Roderick Teamer. He's a New Orleans native. He went to Brother Martin. Shouts out to my guy Charles Scarborough, man. Graduate of Brother Martin off there off Legion Fields right there, man. Anybody that knows New Orleans or been, to New Orleans or lived there, what Brother Martin is and how synonymous that is in the community. And Brother Martin is, the last time I checked, the all boys school. Unlike homegirl that said that that she went to St. Aug, that she went to St. Aug. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see this interview, this podcast, and this girl said that she went to Claiborne and she went to St. Aug? I'm like, how is that even possible? But anyway, um, Roderick Teamer, he went to Brother Martin, then he went to Tulane. He played with the Raiders most recently. He played with the Colts as well. He has a little bit of little troubled past. He ended up getting ejected off the sidelines for getting into it with a teammate. Then he got arrested for a DUI back in 2023, and he ended up getting cut by the Raiders. But I'm just hoping that maybe the fact that he's in his hometown, the fact that he's around people that's familiar with him, maybe, they can rally around him. Sometimes that can be a positive thing, sometimes it can be a negative thing. Too many familiar influences around you could can spark a problem. I can think about Des Bryant. When Des Bryant first got to the Dallas Cowboys, I was living in Dallas at the time, and Des Bryant was right out of Oklahoma State, and he was having little issues because, of course, Des Bryant is from the Dallas Fort Worth area. I think he grew up in DeSoto, if I'm not mistaken. But he was around a familiar territory. I can remember, like, at the time I was working at CVS Pharmacy as a night manager, and I can remember, like, Des Bryant always rolling up in there, what I'm saying, with the muscle car, what I'm saying, like, Porsche or whatever like that. And I mean, just be sitting out there chilling, what I'm saying, in the parking lot, but he had to get, different people around him to rally around him. And of course, he ended up being an upstanding citizen and, doing some really good things with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not really expecting anything from Roderick Teamer. I would expect for this to be more like a, like maybe like a depth thing where he can come in and maybe possibly make the team in a special teams capacity. Maybe even do something where he can actually get eyes on him from another team. But it's going to be tough for a player like Roderick Teamer to make this team, especially when the Saints have so many other talented safeties on the team as well. I mean, they got they got the Honey Badger, they got Jordan Howden, they got some other talented guys, Jonathan Abram, Ali Udo, no, not Ali Udo, Ugo Amadi, excuse me. Too many Uggas and Ugas, but yeah, Ugo Amadi, like they got guys like that, and Amadi is a really good special teams guy. Jonathan Abram, he's pretty good as a as a box safety. So it's going to be tough for Teamer to make the team. But I think that the fact that he gets an opportunity to play for his hometown team, maybe he'll turn up a little bit more. I mean, I don't care where you're from. The fact that you get opportunity to play for your hometown team, I'm pretty sure a part of you is a dream come true. So if he grew up in New Orleans, he's 27 years old. Like you was a Saints fan, right? Because there was a lot to cheer for during the time where you were growing up as a kid. Because that's when Drew Brees was in his prime, right? So I'm rooting for Roderick Team. I hope that that the whole DUI thing is in the past. Some of the issues that he had are in the past. I can understand how living that lifestyle, the NFL lifestyle. Sometimes you don't make the best decisions. You're young, and mistakes do happen. So I'm not going to hold that against him, and we're going to move on from that. But like I said, this is an impromptu show. If you notice, I didn't even play the intro. This is just me talking to you all. Once again, I'm in Vicksburg, Mississippi. I'm at my mom's house. So if you didn't recognize the background, I'm chilling at my mom's house down here for a funeral that will take place on tomorrow for my great aunt, Miss Martha Lewis. And I guess it would be suffice for me to dedicate this episode to her. And so let me go ahead and read some of your comments here. Shouts out to Justin being here, Mario here. I know I seen Chemo. I think he was one of the first people. I think I seen Jerry in here as well. Yeah, Jerry, shouts out to you, man. Jerry, I don't know if I haven't done a show since it was your birthday on the 14th. You actually share the same birth date as my older brother. Shouts out to my brother Sam. I know he's probably gonna watch this. Rather you watching it now or later on, but you all share the same birthday, which is June 14th. But I did give you a shout out, and shouts out. I want to make sure I give a special shout out to Hoodie. Hoodie tried to hit me up, and he wanted me to make a video for you, but at the time, it was date night with the wife, right? It was date night with the wife, Jerry. So I had to like kind of incorporate it on the show. He wanted me to like make a video, but during the time we asked me, me and my wife was actually in the movie theater watching Bad Boys. So I definitely wanted to give you a shout out. You know how much you mean to the show, Jerry. You know how much you mean to me, man. You always supported me, always showed love, and you definitely believed in me before a lot of people did, like, and you believed in the vision of the state of the Saints. So I appreciate you, Jared. Thank you for being here, man. Shouts out to Charles. Charles says over there by the chicken in the box. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. In Burger Orleans. Yeah, y'all know. I mean, some of you may know. I went to Dillard my freshman year. And Dillard is like right up the road there, right off Gentilly, right? So, I mean, I'm very familiar with that. And shouts out to my big brother EJ, and his best friend, Mr. Raymond Esperdrum, who we kindly and respectfully call Drum. And we used to go to that Blockbuster video on the Legion Fields like all the time. Like Drum would come over by the house, we'll go over by Drum's house, and we'd be like, want to go to Blockbuster Video? We're like, yeah. And we just be up in there for like hours, just watch, like just looking at different at the time, VHS, DVDs and stuff like that. So yeah, but Brother Martin, yeah, is right off Legion Fields, man. And and there was also like a snowball stand that was out there that a lot of people would go to as well. So we used to go over there and get a snowball too. So yeah, I'm very familiar with the Brother Martin High School. Says rest in peace to your great aunt TJ. Yeah, I mean, shouts out to the Lewis family, the Jones family, Williams family. That's that's a tough one right there. That's a tough one. My family is pretty unique because four four of my grandfather's brothers married four of my grandmother's sisters. Like, so my grandmother is a Williams and my grandfather, is a Jones. So I have like a lot of double cousins. Like there's a lot of double cousins. So the William Jones family like is definitely connected. This is my grandmother's sister, and she was a wonderful person, man. She never got you. And I used to like always love like going by her house because she was like the only one of the family members that had like a bunch of pictures, like just a bunch of pictures like of my mom when she was young, and pictures of us when we were young. And like when I was in New Orleans growing up as a kid, we used to look forward to coming down to Vicksburg just to visit with my aunt Martha, as well as my other uncles and aunts and stuff like that. And she was always a wonderful human being, man. So she definitely will be missed. Definitely one of the matriarchs of the family. On the Williams side. So she definitely will be missed. I had to come down here to pay my respects to my aunt Martha Lewis. It's been a tough few months for my family. My grandmother, she lost her one of her brothers, I want to say in March, and then a few weeks ago, my uncle R.B. Williams, he passed away, and now my aunt Martha. So it's been kind of tough, dealing with these things, and that's the tough thing about growing up as growing up. Like you see these people, and the older you get, the older they get. So you got to appreciate it. Like when you go and visit your family members, especially like when you're young and then you grow up and you start having children and stuff, you have to cherish those moments, man. I know everybody, sometimes you like when you're in town, you're passing through and like, I gotta see this person, man. But and you want to cherish those moments, man. You got to cherish those moments, man, because they mean a lot. No, it means a lot to me. Like when I get opportunity to go over by my grandparents' house and bring my son. I mean, how many kids can be able to see their great grandparents and be able to have moments with them? Like that's an honor. So cherish those moments that you have with your family, especially like when you go into town. I know how it be sometimes, right? You want to go see everybody when you go into town and stuff like that, but cherish those moments, folks. Cherish those moments. They'll mean so much to you, as time goes on. But like I said, any question that you have, it doesn't matter, man. It's just rapid fire. I guess I'm on my Matt Moscona this morning. Yeah, Matt just be up there chilling, man. Shouts out to Matt, man. Everybody know, man, how much I respect Matt Moscona, man. That's my guy. But he be sitting back there chilling, man, and it's just rapid fire. Anything y'all want to talk about, Anything y'all want to talk about? But I do want to plug this. I do want to plug this while y'all putting y'all questions in. Of course, y'all know Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast will officially launch, like officially launch, where we're having shows every single week on July 1st. That's Monday, July 1st. It's going to be the first episode. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a sports show, right? I mean, how we have the State of the Saints here, but we're going to be talking about different NFL teams, college football, all that stuff. So I know a lot of you already have subscribed to the Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast channel. I'm just asking you to do it. YouTube.com, search Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast. It's gonna be exciting, man, and I feel like it's gonna be huge, man, because uh, y'all think that I try to be as creative on this channel as I can. Like it gonna be it's gonna be a little bit limitless on the Gumbo Pie channel, and then on top of that, it's gonna be a little different. A few house rules are gonna be a little bit different there. So but if you have not subscribed to the Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast channel, please do so. On July 1st, going to be the first episode. That's when we're going to be talking about different teams, NFL, college football. So you don't want to miss it. Definitely, if you're into HBCU sports, if you're into that, hit me up. All right. If you like HBCU sports, you follow HBCU sports, because there's a possibility that you can be an analyst on the show, because I am looking for an HBCU analyst. So if you're trying to get yourself out there, you follow HBCU sports, go ahead and hit me up. Now, this is just a cameo thing, right? I haven't made it to a point where I can pay somebody a bunch of money. Like, I want to get to that point. But if you want to maybe talk HBCU sports, get a spot, on the Gumbo Pie Sports talking about HBCU sports, hit me up, let me know. And we can possibly make that happen. So it's just about, growing the channel. It's about, changing up a little bit. I mean, we still going to be talking Saints football, of course, but I mean, I just love sports so much. I just want to make sure that I get opportunity to really express it. And I know there's a lot of people that follow the Saints, but it might be watching a game or something, and another game, and they probably won't have something to say about it. But we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna have a good time on the Gumbo Pie Sports channel. All right, but let me go ahead and read some of this. Bucks, Rays, and Bolt says prayers. UTJ going to be okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be okay, man. I mean, you just cherish the memories. When a good close family member passes away, and it's one of those things where a person was a really good person, and you know where they're going. You know where they're going. What do you think about Alvin Kamara news? Think trading? Well, I'll say this: anytime a player is in a contract negotiation, there's no, I mean, I guess there's no rules in love and war, whatever as they say. Like, these guys want to get paid, and their representation know that they want to get paid. And a lot of these stories that you hear are like representatives of the player, putting those stories out there in order to kind of create some buzz, to kind of put the organization that the player is trying to get paid from, put their foot to the fire. And this is one of those situations. Look, I don't expect for the New Orleans Saints to be willing to trade Alvin Kamara unless it's just like we just can't reach no common ground at all. Then I can see there's a possibility of him getting traded. But what the Saints are trying to do offensively and what they're trying to bring to the table, you want to keep him. You want to keep him because he's going to be an integral part of what the New Orleans Saints are trying to do offensively. So with that, you want to make sure that, you pay him. Now, the question is, what is Alvin Kamara looking for? And I know that I've said this on several occasions, and I stand by this statement. I think a lot of what we've seen from Alvin Kamara when it comes to lack of production or certain things that we have been used to seeing him do that he no longer does. I think that is mostly about the team and not so much about Alvin Kamara. So it's almost like one of those situations where if I was really good at a certain part of my job, like I'll just use it from a retail perspective because y'all know in my past life, I was really into retail. I was a store manager for many years, right? So let's just say, for example, I got one employee or one coworker. I don't like saying employees, but one coworker that was really good at putting up what they call end caps. Those are the things that, like, if you're walking on the aisle, they sit between, one aisle and another. They kind of just sit there, and they're really good at presentation, right? Putting those things together, product placement, what have you, and they do a really good job. And everybody talk about, man, these look really, really good. Then all of a sudden, like I just automatically just stop telling that said employee to stop putting up those end caps, right? Work on something else. They're good at what they're doing, right? But it's not as effective as them putting up those end caps. And somebody says, well, man, they need to let that employee go. You know, I don't know about that, right? They do a good job, but I'm not asking them to do something that they shine at, right? They do a decent job, but they're not doing anything that they excel at. And I feel like that is what happened with Alvin Kamara. Like Alvin Kamara was good in the screen game, good in the passing game, and we know that there was a lack of production or a lack of uh, a low percentage call of certain plays that Alvin did very well, right? The angle routes, the screen plays, the wheel routes, the stretch plays. Like those plays were few and far in between. The lack, like there was, those play calls weren't called as often as they were when Sean Payton was the coach. And I think that was the reason why Alvin Kamara's production kind of slipped. So you can't hold Alvin responsible for him not doing something that he excelled at because the team is not asking him to do it. So when you go to the negotiating table, you got to take that into consideration. And you can't say that, oh, in this particular scheme, Alvin wouldn't thrive. Yes, he would, because the things that have made Alvin Kamara special has been his intelligence on the field, the way that he can kind of, fit through that little maze. I look at Alvin as like, doing a guy a person that can do a Rubik's cube really, really well, right? They can do it really, really fast. Like they can actually just envision and see it and put all the colors together. That is what Alvin reminds me of. And with the wide zone, the fact that you give your running back options of holes to go through or decisions they can make, I think he'll excel because he's such a smart football player. There's not many guys that can come in and do what Alvin does. So I think that he is very important to what the Saints are doing. But you also have to stay true within yourself. You can't go out here having them break the bank. You can't have them going out here, exhausting yourself because there are some players that you're going to have to pay down the line. I mean, you're going to have to pay Chris Olave. You're going to have to pay Paulson Adebo. And these young players that are on a come up, I mean, that production is going to come with a price. So with that being said, you got to do what's best. You got to do what's best for the team. And I know sometimes those aren't always the most popular decisions, but you also got to take into consideration if Alvin is not giving you certain type of production, you got to look at the play calls and how the percentages have went down when it comes to certain play execution. Uh, as a as a regular after show boy, it's good to catch you live. Sorry for your loss. Everybody wish they went to St. Og. Love your show. Yeah, Robert, man. Shouts out to St. Og High School, man. Look, I ain't got nothing but love and respect for the guys that went to St. Og. Man, there's several people that I know that went to St. Og, right? And one thing I will say, St. Og, for those that may not be from New Orleans, probably never heard of it. It is a all male Catholic school, but it was one of the first that was predominantly African American Catholic school, and it is so well respected. Most people know them for their world renowned band, the Marching 100. Um, but I will say this, in order for you to go to the AUG, that's when you're from the world. They don't call it Saint Aug, they call it the AUG. So if you go to the AUG, one thing I've always noticed and I've always respect about people that went to St. Aug, guys that went to St. Aug, you had to pay to go there. And you know how it goes sometimes. Like when you paying for your education, people be acting all snobby and uppity. I will say this: I ain't never met like a Bush YZ type St. Aug graduate. Never. They have a lot of pride in a school, but I ain't never to a point where they feel like they up here and you're down here, right? Me graduating from Carver or going to Carver, I ain't never like met a person from St. Aug and be like, man, like they be acting like they just better than you or whatever. Some of the coolest people that I ever met. Like I used to go to UNO Upward Bound program. Shouts out to my guy Matthew, man. He went to St. Aug. Man, I mean, so many cool dudes, man. So that's what I always respected and valued about um, St. Aug high school graduates, man. Like they some of the most down to earth people. Now some of them people when they pay for school, they act like they ish don't stink. But St. Aug, man, they always been some cool brothers out there. So shouts out to all the St. Aug graduates out there. Saw reports Bucks interested in Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I seen that same report. But I mean, look, a lot of the stories out there, I'm not gonna lie to you, Bucks raise boats. A lot of them stories out there, sometimes they just be trying to put those stories out there to try to gain some traction, to try to put organizations foot to the fire, like I mentioned. Sometimes they can have some validity behind it. Who knows? I'm smart enough to know that when contract negotiations are going on and teams can't reach an agreement, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the player that is having the issue wanting some more money and the team don't want to accommodate him for that player to get traded. So I'm not saying that Alvin Kamara going to get traded. I think that that's going to be a last resort. It will have to be like they just can't find any type of common ground. But I think that they're going to try to figure it out. But I mean, I can understand this. I mean, only $1 million of a $10 million base salary this year is guaranteed. No money next year is guaranteed. So I can understand why he wants to get paid. I can understand that. Jared says Kamara is staying. I believe he will. TJ don't believe why Saints trade him in the division. Yeah, I don't see that, man. Like you don't trade you don't trade players like this in your division. That's one thing I will say about the South, right? You don't really see too many teams like willing to trade like top players in their division. Now, there have been times where a guy gets released by the team and they get picked up, like Roman Harper. Like Roman Harper left the Saints, went to Carolina. Joe Horn, back in the day, he left the Saints, went to the Falcons, but he was at the twilight of his career. Like you don't really see that, right? You see Curtis Lofton, was the middle linebacker for the Falcons, then came over to the Saints. So you got players that leave NFC South teams and go to another, and it's mostly because the team is familiar with the game of the player, right? But it's never like, oh, I'm gonna just trade you. Like you don't really see that type of stuff. Like you see it with Saquon Barkley, right? Saquon Barkley now played for Philadelphia, but but it was the fact that they seen him play all those years. NFL talk is a great idea. I usually have to go to other channels for NFL talk. Now I can keep all in one place. Yeah, look, I've always loved football. Like I've always loved football. I love the Saints. Y'all know I do. But the reality is, man, I'm trying to branch out. Like I didn't just start this just to be, a Saints podcaster. I wanted to show love for my hometown team, but also I'm trying to make a career out of this, right? I want to do this on a regular. And it's one thing that someone told me, and shouts out to Michael Smith, man. I was got opportunity to talk to Michael Smith when I was at the combine a couple of years ago, and he gave me some really good advice. He's like, man, you got good content. He was like, but you want to branch out, and he said, I know how it is because y'all know Michael Smith from New Orleans, so he was like, I know how it is, man. He's like, I love the Saints too. He was like, but you're like, you got to branch out. And he's like, but he said, make sure when you do it, you got to have an idea about how you want to do it. Right. So I never really embraced the whole like gumbo pie thing head on because I just don't want to do something that's just so disingenuous. Right. I work off passion. So I wanted to make sure that I get everything straight before I, really present the show. And that's why, for the most part, I was, basically streaming the State of the Saints on both platforms. But now, I want to get opportunity like to really, talk about other teams. And, I just want to grow as a analyst, as a reporter, as a writer. So for all those out there that support me in any venture that I do, I really do appreciate it. And I'm just asking you to support me doing the Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast going forward. My condolences, TJ. Praying for you and your family. Yeah, I appreciate that, man, and thank you for that. I thank you for that. I appreciate that, Dolph. They say my thing would Saints trade him in the division. Nah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Understand, TJ, like taking someone out of the produce department and putting them in the front end row. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a difference, right? I mean there are certain things that people are good at, cartel, and there's some things they're probably going to be decent at, but not up to the standard where they were at a certain spot. Now you can make an argument to say, well, how can you grow if you don't move around, right? But you can't, like, if a person has spent months or even years like perfecting a certain thing that they do well, and you switch them over and they're doing the other thing for a couple of months. Of course, there's going to be some trial and error, and especially if they're not used to doing it at all, there is going to be some issue. So also condolences to you and your fam. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Roderick says, "Hey TJ, my condolences to you. I didn't know we were family. I'm a we." Hey man, the craziest thing about it is, man, I actually have a cousin named Roderick Williams, and when I first saw you, I actually thought you were my cousin, like because like, his name is Roderick. So yeah, but shouts out to him, man. We call him Wink, man. Shouts out to Winky. Let's see. My lady friend says there's something in the water we drink. I don't know. I know they got some bad water in certain places, right? I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad in some areas. TJ, I would like to speak to you about crossover shows featuring the Gumbo Sports Network and the Come On In Sports Network. Well, look, it's definitely something, Dolph, I could probably do it, like consider in the future. Um, but like I said, but right now, man, I'm small potatoes. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I don't want anybody to think, oh man, TJ big time. No, 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 no. The opportunities that I've gotten and stuff that I've done, is just by the grace of God and some really kind-hearted people that were nice enough to give me a few minutes of their time. And I'm trying to grow. That's why when people are like, man, you think you can hook me up with this or that? Like, man, I'm trying to like grow just like everybody else. But I would love to like, you know, work with you, as far as, you know, talking about sports or, trying to, help build channels, like stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty good at. But I'm not, I don't feel like at this point, especially starting out with the Gumbo Pot, I'm not at a point where, I feel like I can really truly be of a service to people. I don't want anybody, you know what I'm saying, to feel like, oh man, TJ, man, he just don't want to, like, a lot of the times where when I have, when people ask me about certain things, it's not the fact that I don't want to do them. It's just the fact that I don't feel like I'm in that place right now. But like I said, gumbo pot is just something that, just like the state of the Saints, it's a concept that I came up with, and I'm just gonna try to grow it episode by episode. Now, Dolph, I will say this, I'm always like looking for people that, if you want to pop on, talk, about any, what I'm saying, particular team, get your perspective on it. Like, I would love that. And like I say, eventually, get to a point where, like I said, Gumbo Pod can be like a super successful podcast, to a point where I can actually bring people on and really give them, like, to be able to give them the help and give them like a really positive rub. Like, that's what I want to do. But like I said, right now it's just a brainchild that I'm going to have to grow episode by episode. Right? This is just like this is not me just starting something because somebody, like, gave me an opportunity to do it. It's something that, I'm passionate about, and I want to, help grow. But I would, like I said, I would love, like, if I do an episode or something like that, to have you as a guest, and we can just kind of um, talk about like different, teams, or a game that's like basically featured as the game of the week, and how we see that going. I would love that. Let's see. Alvin Kamara is a special player who has been wasted by the team since Drew retired. Fortunately, he didn't take on a lot of physical abuse. Alvin is not a guy to play hardball with. Yeah, I mean, he's not a guy to play hardball with, because Alvin literally, like, Alvin is a different cat. Like, I don't think it would hurt Alvin Kamara to sit at home for an entire year. Like, I'm serious. Like, it don't seem like he's really driven by money. Like, it don't seem that way. It really don't. It's like, if there's opportunity that makes sense for him, he'll do it. But he marches to the beat of his own drum. Like, I if the Saints would if the Saints don't work with him and get him a contract, like, I'm telling you, I would not be surprised at all if Alvin Kamara was to sit at home, like, and be like, "Oh, you lose $800,000 for." I don't think he would care. Like, as crazy as that sound, and because a lot of these players, they they get to a point where, you know they start missing checks and they start sweating. But Alvin don't seem like, he that type of guy that just wastes a whole bunch of money. Like, okay, if I lose this, that's fine. But, on the back end, I'm gonna get it back somehow. So that's the way I look at it. So the Saints, like, I agree. I agree, Robert. He definitely strikes me as a guy that will sit at home for an entire year if the contract ain't right. People putting out a lot of clickbait also. Yeah, there's a lot of clickbait out there too. But sometimes, like I said, Dolph, there's a lot of representation out there to be putting them stories out there to try to make teams sweat. Yeah, Kamara ain't going nowhere but this year. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere at all. Where they come from, I don't know exactly what we're talking about here. I don't know if we're talking about. Um, I don't know if we're talking about like where the story come from. I mean, I've seen a few articles that had like Alvin Kamara getting traded within the division. That was something that came across my timeline. Alvin and the Saints will come to an agreement, and in no way in hell do you ever trade a marquee player inside your own division. That is a ass clown decision. Sorry for cussing, TJ. Well, no, it's okay, man. It's all right. I get it. It is an ass clown decision. If he was to do something like that in his prime. Like, I keep telling people, like, Alvin Kamara is not washed. If you trade Alvin Kamara in his division to a team that knows how to utilize him, you're gonna be mad watching him play. Just got here. Did I miss a big announcement? Well, no big announcement, Josh. It was just the Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast. Is going to launch July 1st. It's going to be a sports variety show versus like the State of the Saints, where we're just talking solely about the Saints. And it's going to open up a lot of opportunities because I just feel like we'll probably have more well respected, renowned like reporters and possibly players, to come on to the show because a lot of times it's hard for me to be able to get certain guests because they don't really follow the Saints like that. Like they know a little bit about them enough to kind of get by, but when you're like a national sports journalist, a lot of what you learn about is mostly like mainstream, sports teams like Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, etc. Now, it's not going to be like one of them shows where we just talking about the Cowboys and Eagles all day, but you know, want to be able to bring in like a Tennessee Titans, reporter or some other team like reporter. Like it opens up endless possibilities to how the show can grow. So that's definitely a positive as well. But that's all we were talking about, Josh. Just the Gumbo Pie Sports coming July 1st. TJ, what up, bro? Who that? What's going on, Mirror? Thank you for being here. Cover the Hawkeyes, TJ. I mean, if that's gonna be one of them, Josh. That's gonna be one of them. Of course, our Hawkeyes, Big Ten team, always find themselves in the Big Ten championship, only to get slapped around by Ohio State or Michigan. But they're a really good football team, man. They always have a really good offensive line. They always have great tight ends. They always have good running backs, right? And they always have a solid defense. Like I would like if Iowa was in another division, like another conference. Like let's just say if Iowa was in, I don't know, the ACC. I think they'll win the ACC championship like more times than not. Like they're a really good football team. They're just like they just not better than Ohio State or Michigan. Like it would take a Herculean effort for them to beat them, but they always like have a good team because they only lose like maybe 1 or 2 games a season. So, but they always have to play Ohio State or Michigan in the Big Ten championship, and that's what always caused them their demise. So they just can't get past Ohio State or Michigan. But the last couple of years, they've been in a Big Ten championship and they lost to Michigan. So let's see. There really is paid opportunities with the Hawkeyes, TJ. Yeah, I mean, I ain't so much looking at like compensation opportunities with these places, but I do want, like I said, I just want to build relationships to a point where if we have a show where something significant has happened at Iowa, like having a really good season or a player, that everybody's talking about being one of the best in the nation, we can get somebody from the Iowa Hawkeyes that cover the team to come on there. That's what mostly I'm looking at. TJ, what's going on with AK head? He walked out. Well, I don't think anything's wrong with his head, Ronald. Look, I want people to be careful with this. I know sometimes when players be going through contract negotiations, the first thing we really do is start looking at the player and why they walking out and man, they want money, they money hungry. But we got to look at these organizations too. And I don't like the way these organizations basically get absolved of any wrongdoing. Rather, it's like fumbling certain players, production, rather, it's not developing players the certain way. It's like we always blame the players. Like the Chicago Bears have been slow for I don't know how long, right? Ain't made the playoffs, ain't won the North since I don't know, Jon Snow, what I'm saying, did it. Jon Snow, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But he was the king of the North. But anyway, they ain't won nothing. But anyway, you get Caleb Williams and you draft him first overall, right? You get all these different things for him. You get Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, you get a defense, you get all these different bells and whistles to be able to make sure that he's accommodated and have success. But then you look at Justin Fields and you did absolutely nothing to try to help this dude. Like absolutely nothing. You brought in DJ Moore via trade, but outside of that, you didn't have a running game. Like your defense was subpar. And everybody started looking at, well, Justin Fields, he a bust. He a bust. He a bust. Like, he ain't good enough. He just ain't good enough. But what has the organization done to make this man better? What have they put around him in order for him to thrive? Not much. But we always looking at the players. In this case, when it comes to the contract, Alvin Kamara has been the Saints offense for I don't know how long. Like, since Drew Brees retired, this man has been the Saints offense. And we are you can't get upset with him that he has a $10 million salary, but you only guarantee 1 million of it this season. And then next year is basically like a phantom year. It's like 20-something $1 million, but none of it is guaranteed. So I'm not going to get upset with a player for wanting to do what's best for a player. We have to put ourselves in Alvin Kamara's shoes. If you work hard for something, you're getting paid, and you basically are doing more or going above and beyond what is expected of you. You want a bonus. You want a raise. We can't get into pocket watching. I keep saying this. We cannot get into pocket watching. We cannot look at Alvin Kamara's pockets and compare them to our pockets because it's a completely different tax bracket. This is a $1 billion entity, multi-billion dollar entity that Alvin Kamara is a part of. And a few $1 million that he's asking for is like you dropping a couple coins out your pocket, on a roller coaster or something. Y'all ever had like them little basketball shorts and then you have change in your pocket and then all of a sudden like it's not deep pockets, so they start falling out. And then you're looking down, dang, I lost about 30 cents. Like you ain't about to dwell all day about losing 30 cents, right? That's how the NFL looks. That's how it looks, when it comes to the NFL. They are a multi-billion dollar conglomerate. So you got to respect this man trying to go through negotiations. And I'm not trying to get mad at Alvin Kamara because I want him to run the football for me to feel good about myself and my team winning. I want that man to get his money. I want every player to get their money, especially when they're worth it. TJ, what are your thoughts on our current tight end situation? Do you think Dallin Hoker can really be an asset day one? Well, only time will tell, Cartel. Only time will tell. I'm not sure if he will be. I know he has a lot of talent. I know the expectations are high. I know the fact that Juwan Johnson unfortunately goes down, has to have surgery. I think that this is a great opportunity for him to be able to get to step up and possibly get some playing time. So I'm not going to say that he's the second coming of George Kittle or Travis Kelce, but you give a guy an opportunity, it's up to him to be able to take advantage of it. Bullzilla Kennels, that's my brother right there. Shouts out. What's up, Sam? How you doing, man? Thank you for being here. Good morning to you. Says, yes, of course, I would. I'm also trying to build my Come On Sports network, so I totally understand we're on the same page. Yeah, man, like I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, man, TJ, he did that. Like, bro, I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of emails and a lot of like hearing the word no before y'all start saying stuff that would people say yes when it comes to me. I work hard. Like a lot of what's drive this show is like the super chats that you all give, the fact that you all be sharing the show, liking the show. We small potatoes over here, so that's why I take a lot of pride. Like when y'all see me at certain things like events, like man, I'm like overcome with emotion because I'm like I can't believe I'm here. Well, let me take that back. I believe I'm here because I feel like I got the talent and ability to be there, but it takes a lot of hard work. So that's why I just tell people, like, man, don't be fooled by some of the things that y'all be seeing from people, man. I know they be looking like they be owned and all that kind of stuff, man, but these people be putting in a lot of hard work. So that's why I value y'all, and that's why, I want to be able to, do everything that I would love to do when it comes to sports, and I work as hard as I can because I want to be able to give you all the best content possible. Not so much like, when I walk in a place, everybody like, oh man, it's Timothy J. Jones, TJ. Nah, I don't care about that, man. I just want to do what I love to do. So yeah, it's just about building, man, and trust the process. Proud of you, man. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Look, I'm proud of you too, man. Shouts out to my brother, man. This is the one I tell y'all about all the time. My brother Sam, military veteran, did 3 tours, Iraq and Afghanistan. Uh, just had a birthday, man. A couple weeks ago, June 14th. That's why I was telling you about Jerry. Just my brother who shares the same birthday as you. Yeah, good person, man. Look, man, we be on the phone, man, chopping it up, just silly stuff, man. But shouts out to my brother, man. Thank you for spending a little bit of time in here with us, man. Thank you. Uh, TJ, you definitely deserve more clout, bro. Well, look. As long as people love the show, that's all that matters to me. I'll be lying to you if I ain't say like sometimes, hard work that you put in, you feel like sometimes like you ain't really being noticed, but I have a tendency of like just being happy at what I'm doing right now. Like I don't look at like compared to where other people have done and their background in order for them to get like certain things, and us being here, like I feel I look at it like, we doing pretty doggone good, because man, I ain't never worked for a major publication. I ain't never like I just started following like a team like Coastal Carolina and all those different things, right? And I'm 37. And the fact that, I get to go to Senior Bowl every year in NFL Combine, like that's pretty dope in my opinion. Because most of the time when you get that type of access, you have to like have some particular background. But this show, like the State of the Saints, is the reason why a lot of these opportunities present itself. So that I take a lot of pride in it. People don't understand that Alvin has agents and personal trainers he has to pay too. He works hard in the off season on his own dime. Man, look. So when I was driving, I told y'all it takes me about 11 hours to get here. So I listened to a lot of interviews. I listened to like an interview with the Undertaker, which is pretty cool, man. If you're a wrestling fan, why listening to the Undertaker talk like after all the years when he didn't? But I also had opportunity to check out Cam Newton. And look, 4th and 1 with Cam Newton, man, that's a super underrated podcast. Like, first off, Cam Newton is like very, very like charismatic. I think we all know that. But there was one episode where he was talking about wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he was talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown's contract. And he broke it down so people can understand like how NFL players get paid. And for those that didn't check it out, I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis of what he said. So he basically said that Amon-Ra St. Brown gets about $15 million a year, right? And he was saying that in that $15 million, you get paid that over 17 games. Right? He said so over 17 games, he might go home with like 900 and some $1,000. He said, now that sounds good. He's like, but you got to think about this. He's like, you got to take care of your mama, your family. He said, your agents. Also, he was like in a contract. He said, you basically got to pay every team whose stadium that you play in. So for every state that you play football in those 17 weeks, you got to pay a state tax on that. And then he said, you also have to take into account, you have to keep this money for the rest of your life. So think about that. Like, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe he like maybe 25 or 26 or something like that. So he probably got like another, like if he plays decent, and, no real significant injuries happen to him, you probably looking at like 33, 34 years old where you decide to retire. Well, you still got another 35, 40 years to live that you have to keep the money that the NFL has given you over the course of your playing time. So when you think about like, oh, Alvin Kamara, man, look, he make $50 million. you got to think about the percentage that he gives to his agent. Like I want to say like maybe like 20% off the top or something like that. Like I said, the Louisiana state tax, the Georgia state tax, Florida doesn't have a state tax. The North Carolina state tax, because I'm mentioning that because you playing division games, right? So you got that. Okay, the Saints got to play Kansas City, so you got to pay Missouri taxes. Like all these different places that you're playing, you got to pay state taxes to them. And then, like I said, after all that is broken down, then you get into a base salary and you divide that particular amount by 17 weeks. And if you have like house payments, car payments, mama house payment, all those different things, like you got to think about that, folks. I keep telling you, like you cannot put football players who make multi-million dollars and look at it from your particular perspective. Hold on 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Hey, good to see you too, man. Hey, man, I'm sorry, man. My cousin just walked through the door. Shouts out to my cousin Isaiah, just walked through. But yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to take all that into consideration, right? So, I mean, we can't like compare our pockets to NFL players' pockets. It's different. I'm using an after show boy, but not right now. That boy, look, hey, appreciate you for the 199 first and foremost. But yeah, look, we got we got some after show boys t-shirts that's gonna be coming out. I'm gonna launch them towards the beginning of the season. So shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls, and you know, I feel like it's a movement right now because there's a lot of people that, they working, they doing different things and they can't catch the show live. So, shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. I didn't play an intro, but in this case, I'm gonna play this.
Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to all them after show boys, after show girls out there, man. Shouts out to you. Um, hey, man, that's low key a banger right there. That's low key a banger, man. Oh snap! I finally caught you live. I've been an after show boy for months. That's low key a banger right there, man. We created right there, man. That's low key. Some people don't remember, but we mortgaged a lot, and Drew cost us $100 million, which was like 90% of our cap that year. Kamara may be our best offensive player, and that he can run and catch. Just pay him. I agree, Mira. But you also want to keep it within reason because you got a lot of young cats that's about to step up and about to get paid, man. Like Chris Olave, you're gonna have to pay him. Rashid Shaheed, he came in the same year as Chris Olave. I mean, you're gonna have to pay him. Paulson Adebo's contract is coming up. There's going to be a decision that you're going to have to make about Laddie Daddy. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of decisions that you have to make. It's not as simple as, oh, let's just pay him. You got to look at what he's asking for. How many years? Like, how is that going to affect your cap? Like, we'll see. We'll see. But I will say this, like, the best thing about this is I know we talk about Derek Carr's contract and that $100 million, but I mean, compared to what NFL players are getting paid right now at the quarterback position, like that's small potatoes. That is small potatoes in comparison to what these other guys like Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence is getting paid and all those different people. So yeah. Angel Reese, thank you very much for the $2. Says me and Caitlin is is making money, food. Yeah, look, shouts out to Angel Reese, man. Shouts out to Caitlin Clark. Man, I told y'all, look, bruh, I told y'all, I said at the beginning. I don't know if people, man, they be sleeping on my analysis. I'm telling you, they be sleeping on my analysis. I've been saying this for months. I said if the WNBA was smart, they would do what the NBA did in the 80s with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. With Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, when you had Larry Bird as the great white hope, and you had Magic Johnson as, the style and finesse, black guy, right? And people coined that, you know what I'm saying? It was like East versus West, black versus white, have people picking sides, right? And for even though, you know, even though some people can look at that as in bad taste, it helped the NBA. It took the NBA to great heights. And then, of course, Michael Jordan came along back in 80, when Jordan came in the league, 84, 85 or something like that. But he came into the league and he took it over, right? And he was able to bring it to even bigger heights. And then you had LeBron James came after him, and Kobe Bryant and Shaq. I kind of map like Shaq and Kobe kind of, I guess, right after Jordan, but they both played with him. So LeBron was the one that took the NBA to where it is right now. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, collectively as a group, they look what the WNBA is doing. When Angel Reese fouled Caitlin Clark and tried to swiped over the head trying to get that block, that was talked about not just on sports shows, but political shows, all these different things. These two girls, these two women are saving the WNBA. They are putting eyes on the product. I don't know why the WNBA does not want to look at these two women and be like, man, these are the reason why people are watching, because it is. Caitlin Clark, because of her popularity, and look, people may not want to hear this, but white people love to see themselves thrive, you know what I'm saying, in certain elements that may belong to other cultures. That's just the truth. Like the fact that Caitlin Clark is good at basketball in a sport that is mostly dominated by African Americans and being good at, like, it's impressive. Just like I mentioned with Jeremy Lin when he was in a game, like this Asian guy with handles and all these different things, like he took the world by storm. The fact that Caitlin Clark is doing it in a sport that is mostly dominated by African Americans, people like to see that. And then you have Angel Reese, who came along. Her, like, first off, like, she's beautiful. She's an attractive young lady. She can play basketball. Like, she's polarizing. Like, she's marketable. These two women are what the WNBA need to use as catalysts. Like, no disrespect to like Aja Wilson and all them other girls out there that's been playing like at a high level for years, and I get it. They're like, man, I've been great all this time. Nobody really paid no attention to me, Diana Taurasi and all that kind of stuff. But these two women, if the WNBA were smart, I would have the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever on TV every single week. Like, seriously, I would have these two women front row center on everybody's TV every single week. That would help the WNBA. It is not, like I told you, they are doing it. They're doing it the right way, but they fumbling the bag because you have these analysts that's coming on. Well, the WNBA always been great. It probably has, but people are paying attention to the sport because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and that dynamic. There were two of the highest rated WNBA games involved these two women playing against each other in college basketball. One of the highest rated women's college basketball games was featuring these two individuals. If the WNBA were smart, they would take this momentum and utilize these two women to help the WNBA reach higher heights. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't buy jerseys. I don't buy like shoes because of people's namesake. But like, if Caitlin Clark, like I'm pretty sure she's coming out with some shoes because she just signed a deal. Angel Reese, like if she get a shoe deal, I would actually buy their basketball shoe, like in support. Like, and I'm about as casual as a button-up shirt and some khaki pants when it comes to basketball. That is how you save it. So, I mean, I ain't mean to go on this tangent, but when you want to use these two, you want to use these two women to get you where you need to be. But we'll see. If you're enjoying the content so far, hit the button, share, and subscribe. Cartel, thank you, man. Thank you for that. It says 22 is already the greatest female basketball player of all time, period. Everyone knows it. Well, let's see. Who's African American? That is a trick to have one thinking they aren't from here. Well, look, I get what you're saying, and yeah, I guess it's a politically correct term. You know, people say, "Oh, I'm an American," you know, because I ain't never been to Africa. Look, I get all that, man. But look, look, I've been known as African American my entire life. Look, I don't look at it like it's a brainwashing thing. Like I understand that, you know, I am an American. I understand I'm from America and all those different things. You know, I don't feel like I should be deprived of anything based on the fact that I consider myself an African American. Right? I get all that. I mean, I can talk about like how nobody is you know, technically in American, you know, except for Native Americans, you know. I mean, we all like I can go into all that, but look, we are who we are, you know. It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. It's the pride that you carry with yourself. It's the dignity that you carry with yourself. And I understand that kind of stuff is important. It says, but I feel Caitlin and Angel call each other every night and laugh about how the rivalry is making them money. Josh, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When David Stern first became the commissioner of the NBA, may he rest in peace. There was a meeting that happened between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and David Stern and, you know, some of the higher ups with the NBA, and they told them what they were going to do, how they wanted to market this thing. And of course, you know, those guys were kind of reluctant to do it because, you know, they didn't want to make, you know, cause any like friction between like, you know, race and caste systems and stuff like that. But man, the biggest hot topic in society, for better or for worse, is race. I'm sorry, folks, but it is like this dynamic has been going on for centuries. You know how somebody looks, certain access, certain advantages based on skin color. Like it has always been a hot button topic, and people use these type of topics in order for them to generate buzz. And if it wasn't for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, would the NBA be what it is today? Because the NBA was on tape delay. It was on tape delay. They used to record the games and then pop it on TV, right? Used to be background noise. Like smoke filled room arenas, no real excitement. Oh, I pass you the ball, you pass me the ball, oh, I'm under the rim, layup. Like there was really very few little dunks. I mean, that's why Julius Erving was so special in his heyday. And then, you know, you start seeing these players playing above the rim. You know, that's when it started to generate excitement. And then you have to think about Magic Johnson and his style and finesse with the Showtime Lakers. You know, him, you know, passing the ball behind his back, over his head. Like that stuff was exciting. Like, and then you had people that didn't like that, right? They didn't like the way that Magic Johnson was all that flash and pizzazz. Then you had that, you know, you had that 6'8" white boy with that great jumper and was a hell of a basketball player named Larry Bird who played fundamentally the way that they wanted, you know, and you had that, oh, he plays the way that basketball needs to be played. Well, basketball is evolving. Look at Magic. That saved basketball. So to me, you know, I think that they probably did have conversations. And if they didn't, they need to have one because these two women are what the WNBA has needed in order to take them to higher heights. And you know the crazy thing about it, think about the NBA, right? I mean, the NBA was in existence like, like 30 plus years before Magic Johnson got, before Magic Johnson and Larry Bird got there. Kind of similar to the WNBA. I mean, you think about Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops and, all these Tia Thompson and all these different people, like, man, them women were good. Cheryl Miller, like, they were really good. But the WNBA wasn't really hitting on nothing. Shamika Holmes-Claw, Candace Parker, like, people weren't really watching it like that. But these women, they have an opportunity to help the WNBA take it to another stratosphere. No African American scratchers in my DNA. Creek, Muskegon, and Seminole. Well, that's great. That's great that you actually know that and have that knowledge on it. A lot of people, like I said, they don't know, their background. But I encourage everybody to try to look into your heritage, man. See where you come from. LOL, Lord, it's not that deep. Tomato. Yeah, look, I'm black. It's like I walk in the store like I'm black, right? You walk in the store around here. Sometimes people are like, hey, like you get more help than what you need. Like for real, like that's when you know you're black, right? Can I help you? Like you just walk up in the store, you just rake your hand across a couple articles of clothes. Can I help you? You need a shopping cart? That's when you know I'm a black man. Let's see. He meant pink, boy, not white. I don't want to get into that, man. The only reason I'm just saying this is because of just the storytelling about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Like, be proud of who you are. If you're a white woman, white man, be proud of who you are. Black, be proud of who you are. Samoan, Polynesian, Hispanic, whoever you are, like wherever walk of life, Nigerian, like be proud of who you are. Be proud of your heritage. But also, have respect for other people's heritages as well. So that will be my takeaway from this. The only reason I'm having this conversation is because that's what happened in order for the NBA to get some buzz. Bird was one of the most underrated ish talkers of any generation. Yeah, he was. And the thing about it is, Larry Bird was great because it's just how things are. Like when you see a white guy playing basketball, right? And he comes into the gym and you have a bunch of black dudes out there. You just automatically just think like, man, this dude can't ball. Like he can't ball better than me. And then that's how Larry Bird was like great. Like that's how he was like that. Because like they were like pushing him around and being super physical with him because they're like, man, this white boy ain't that good. But he was like cooking them boys, like winning championships. So Larry Bird is as advertised because for a fact, like they were like really going at that boy neck. I don't think he's saying the NBA is rigged. Jerry says, just like high school and little league refs can try to control the outcome through the whistle based on favorites. It's more easier to do in the NBA. It is. It's more easier. It's more easier to do in the NBA than it is in the NFL, or Major League Baseball. Well, Major League Baseball you can. It's the game of inches in a way. But yeah, they can control that. They can control the pace of the game. I encourage everybody to check out the documentary on Tim Donaghy, the former NBA referee. He kind of broke it down about how you can kind of control the ebbs and flows of the game. We are not black. Well, I am who I am. All right, I'm I'm a black man. The WNBA must get rid of the refs if they hope to keep eyeballs moving forward. Worst officiating I've ever seen. You're basically guaranteeing a foul half the time in the paint. Well, I think that's probably going to change as time goes on, but you do want to protect your investment, Josh. That's just what it is. Like Caitlin Clark gonna get the whistle treatment. Angel Reese more than likely gonna start getting the whistle treatment. You want to you don't want these girls to go up in there like get an elbow and then they out for weeks and then you're losing ratings. right? I mean, it's a business, Josh. It's a business. When you're in a business, like you want to protect your most important assets. So that's what they're going to do. Everyone is black until it's time to be black. What's up, TJ? I'm just getting in, but I'm at work. Cannon, well, thank you for being here, man. This is more of an impromptu show. Y'all know how it is. Like I said, it's downtime between mini camp, training camp. Training camp is what on the 24th of July. So it's just rapid fire. Like I said, I'm on my Matt Moscona this morning. Just morning sports talk. Morning sports talk. What's up, TJ? I'm just getting off work. I just read that says, why isn't Jackson State playing FAMU in the Orange Blossom Classic? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know why. I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. But shouts out to Jackson State. I got an opportunity to go over there the other day. Took Paxton over there to Jackson State. So that was pretty dope. Like having them on my old uh, stomping ground. But I don't know, man. I can't tell you that. Maybe financially, money. I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't get it together. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of things change. I thought the narrative would change. When Deion Sanders came through, right? Let's support HBCUs and let's support them. They need their support. Everybody rocking HBCU jackets. Everybody rocking HBCU stuff, right? Then all of a sudden, Deion Sanders leaves, and I guess all the HBCU support went that way too. You know, I mean, we only can give so much, man. All of us are like, it's not like how it is at the University of Texas, Oklahoma State, Michigan, where you have these titans, these political people, these people working at the White House, the Pentagon, multi-billion-dollar companies. Like they can write a $1 million check, a $2 million check. You probably making about 75, 80,000. Probably that's probably generous. Like the most you can probably get at your university a year, probably about 150, $200. Like that's not, that's admirable. They appreciate that, but you don't have that when it comes to HBCUs. That's just what it is. Like people like, man, you need to give. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like when you got 2 and 3 kids and you trying to work and pay the bills, like you can't afford to be giving money back to your HBCU as consistently as these millionaires. Oh, I dropped $1 million out of my pocket. Where is it? Oh, I don't know. Well, it'll come up. It'll show up eventually. Like, what? I lose $10. I'm looking like, man, hey, baby, you seen my $10? I'm asking my wife, you seen my $10? Man, I swear it was on the dresser. Shoot, man, for real. Like, like for real, man. It's hard for HBCUs, man. It's not as simple as it was, as it is at some of these bigger universities. I can't find you on Bleacher Report. Let me see. What all do I have to do? Um, First off, you got to download the Bleacher Report app. All right, you got to download the Bleacher Report app on your phone. All right, and what I do is, let's see. What I do is I'll send. I'll do the link. All right. So once you download the Bleacher Report app, then you can click on the link and the link will bring you directly there. All right, so let me go ahead and I'll share this link and I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the comments. So for those that don't follow me on Bleacher Report, please do. Saints Talk with Timothy J. Jones. Put the link down there. So download the Bleacher Report app, click on that link, it'll bring you directly to the page. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. My dad's stomping grounds. Yeah, Jackson State University. Historically, golden colleges and universities. Said I like that at Golden. It's talking only works if you can back it up with your play, like a Richard Sherman, C.J. Gardner Johnson, Jalen Ramsey, for example. Unlike the Eli Apples that talk ish, but that doesn't show it. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean you got to be good. Like you can't just be out there just talking noise, but can't play. That's just a waste of everybody's time. Your time, people that you talk about time is actually funny, because everybody know you ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. As much as tuition costs now, they should be giving us some money. Yeah, tuition is pretty high, at these universities, but man, they gotta keep their head above water. Like I said, man, when you don't have those titans of industry being able to write you them big old huge checks, like these universities barely can survive. Thank you, because I was looking for that link. Yeah, like I said, you download the app, click on the link, should be able to bring you right there. I have it. I just don't know what to do after that. Yeah, you click on that link, it should be able to help you. How do I follow TJ? It automatically starts the show. Okay, well let me I'll do it this way then. Let me go back and go to. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna try to. What I try to do is I just go ahead and I try to send this link here. So on a link, like when you click, let me see, because I'm gonna try to do it. All right, so it brings you directly to it. All right, I'm gonna have to kind of work through it and try to see, because I know there's a link. I don't have my phone with me. I know there's a link that you can actually. It'll bring you like directly. It'll bring you directly there. So let me see. I apologize for this, folks. I just want to make sure everybody get the opportunity to be able to follow me, and I want to know exactly what to tell them. Because normally, like I said, I just automatically just kind of use the link, and with that, it just brings me directly to my page, of course, because it's my profile. 1 second. All right, so we back. So, well, like I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to log in, so I'll be able to give everybody understand about how they can follow this. So I'll just go ahead and just put my profile link in there, so everybody can have it. All right. Hopefully this one will work. If it doesn't, then we'll see. I don't know exactly what it's gonna do. Like I said, I never had to, because most of the time when I'm doing the show, I just share like the video. I just share the video, and that's basically all I got to do. And then like when people like join the live, then they can be able to like just click on it. Okay, there we go. Okay, that one worked. All right, good. Thank you for that. Saying, bro, I downloaded the app to follow you but couldn't find you. Okay, Mira. So like I said, just click on that link that I put down in the chat, and that one should work. That one should work. Said I got it now, but yes, when you post the link, I'm going to copy and paste it on my business and personal social media. Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, just trying to grow that, and try to get more followers. You be talking about the importance on our team, TJ. All I want is a Super Bowl. I'm tired of Dennis Allen acting like he don't like to win. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, look, I think that Dennis Allen wants to win. Like, I don't want people to think that he don't. But I just question, is he the right guy for the job? Like, but we'll see, man. They changed a lot of things over the last couple of years, and hopefully this offensive staff can be the one thing to get them over the hump. But my biggest fear is, now that you actually had a little bit of a head start over these other teams, and you ain't take advantage of it. Now these teams kind of have caught up to you, because the fact that you haven't made the postseason, And it seemed like they fixed some of the issues that were plaguing them from reaching success. So with that, it's like, you know, how would that affect you? You tell it like it is. Well, I try. You know, people, I was talking to, shouts out to my grandmother. She was like, she says, she was like, it don't scare you or bother you, if you say certain things about the team. And I'm like, no, like, because look, man, we got to be honest about this thing. Like, nothing that I do is just like, it would probably bother me if I was like this character and I'm just basically playing this role, but I'm not, right? I feel like I'm balanced in the things that I say. I feel if you just think that I'm just this hypercritical, always negative, like podcast person, or then you don't follow me. And I know how it goes. People hear things word of mouth. They don't give you an opportunity. You know, that's why you have some idiots that there was an issue, a couple months back, when I guess, on Twitter, there was something that happened with Nick Underhill, and then people automatically was like, yeah, you be stealing Nick Underhill stuff. Like, he be stealing from Nick. Like, if you watch New Orleans Die football and you watch the State of the Saints, it's like a completely different show. There's nothing about their show you can just look at, and be like, oh, he took that. But that's what people did. Like, so it's every now and then you'll probably have a troll that shows up and says that, right? Because they see a dude, that's doing a podcast and they feel like, he gotta be able to bite off somebody else. I ain't gotta bite off. I don't have to bite off anybody else. I ain't got to bite off anybody else, in order for me to be able to generate any levels of success in my way. But you have people like that. So I'm good on it. I'm not going to lie to kick it. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat things just to try to make sure that people watch me. I can't do it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that have that particular approach, they'll probably get the things that they want. But I ain't gonna be able to do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm not saying that I'll be stubborn to a point when people give me constructive criticism, I won't listen. But if I if I'm not doing it the way that it needs to be done, in my opinion, like, I would feel so disingenuous, and I don't think I would be able to have the energy to do these shows. Carr carried the 2023 Saints. The Saints team was a dumpster fire and would never even be close to the playoffs without Carr. I don't know if this is a joke or not. I don't know, man. I don't know if you serious about this or not. But I don't know, man. Like, they went 9-8. Like, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't want to dismiss your comment, because towards the end of the season he did start playing pretty well. But that's not saying much. Like, honestly, that's not saying much. That's like saying, you know, I drove, me and you filled up our car at the same time and we both drove 200 miles, and, like, I got a little bit more gas in my tank than you, like, but when we got there, the place that we wanted to go to was closed. I don't know. Like, I can't even use that. I don't even know what type of analogy to use in this case. But it's not saying much. Like, at the end of the day, you still didn't get the end goal. You still didn't get it, right? Like, you still didn't make the playoffs. You still didn't, you still didn't win nothing. Like, so that's not saying much. That's like the prettiest trash bag in the dumpster. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I think down towards the end he played much better. I think that because people were so sour on him earlier, he couldn't really change their thoughts and viewpoints about him. Because I guess the writing was already on the wall. People kind of looked at him as a blame deflector and stuff like that. So, yeah, like I said, I just mentioned, when people have a reputation, like when people hear things about you when it comes to your reputation, like they'll probably take it and run with it instead of like looking at the whole totality of it, right? So I don't know, but that's to me that's not saying much. Do I think he'll play better this season? Probably. He were trying to get us Winston Nice triggered. Well, I mean, look, they went 9-8. Somebody, boy said that boy sniffing peanut shells. Ah, Mario, aka Funny Badger. Nope, but I am no hater either. Well, look, like I said, they went 9-8, so there's room for improvement. But he did play better down the stretch. He did have 14 touchdowns, 2 picks, down the stretch. All right, man. I'm gonna have to take a few more, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Here, Pack. Yeah, mommy calling. Yeah, tell mommy I'm doing a podcast. All right. Yeah. You go. All right. Hey, mama. Yeah, tell her I'm doing a podcast. All right, but anyway, that's my wife calling. Yeah, you know she an hour ahead of us. On Central Time since came to Mississippi, so calling. Let's see. I am also a Jameis fan, but let's be real. That Saints team would be 5-12 behind that offensive line last year. Um, I don't know, man. To me, I think the Saints would have had like something similar. Probably 8-9, 9-8, even if Jameis Winston was the quarterback. But I will say this: the games probably would have been way more exciting, because Jameis gonna risk it and biscuit that thing, So I don't know, man. I think it probably gonna end up in the same spot. TJ, did you see Reggie Jackson speak about playing baseball in Birmingham and what he went through? Yeah, man. Like, look, I'm always down for a good documentary. First off, not a real big on baseball, Rose City, but I checked out that Reggie Jackson documentary. That was some really good, powerful stuff right there. And Reggie Jackson was the freaking man. Like, you got to think about during the time when he was playing. But I also believe that what he endured in Birmingham, like, kind of made him and shaped him to be who he was. Like, he wasn't a yes man. He wasn't going to just toe the line. And the owner of the Oakland A's, man, like, he completely fumbled the bag because he didn't want to pay them dudes. And that was just stubborn on his behalf. Like, oh, you don't make the team, we make the team. Like, man, Reggie Jackson was the man though. Yeah, he was the man. Like, he was like how some of these players act right now in modern times. Like, just imagine like being an African American man during the 60s and 70s saying, man, look, I ain't about to bend the knee for nobody. Y'all gonna do this for me. And man, he was great. He was great in his heyday. Reggie Jackson was the freaking man in his heyday. Shouts out to the Pac Man. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Packy, man. He out there, he down there with his cousins right now talking. And like I said, man, my wife just called trying to talk to him. Cause look, TJ, we used to come in to a Sunday, light up the scoreboard, being comfortable in the fort with the game already finished. Yeah, I mean, when you used to that type of culture, like, it's kind of weird not to see it, but every team kind of goes through ebbs and flows. Like, you have some teams where, you know, you find levels of success, like 49ers when Joe Montana was the quarterback, and then all of a sudden Joe Montana leaves, gets a little bit older, goes to Kansas City. Then you have Steve Young, he picks it up. Then after Steve Young, then you have Jeff Garcia. So you have like teams that can kind of like find playoff success in between. But of course, like even with the 49ers, like they had some down years before Kaepernick came along, you know what I'm saying? He went to the Super Bowl. Then after that, you had like a few years where you were down, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. So teams go through those ebbs and flows. They go through those issues, those ebbs and flows, in order for them to develop. So maybe this is what the Saints are going through right now. I feel that when Reggie Jackson said, "Thank God for my teammates because I would have kicked their ass," then you would have seen me swinging from an oak tree. Look, I think that during the time when he was down there, I mean, I want to say that's when the four girls at the church. That's when the church was bombed. And yeah, I mean, yeah, he went through a lot, man. He went through a lot, but I have an appreciation for Reggie Jackson through that documentary because, like I said, I'm not a real big baseball fan, but Reggie Jackson was the freaking man during that time. Like for him to be dealing with that stuff. July 19 is the day of reckoning. NCAA football game is back. Oklahoma State Cowboys all day. Pistol Pete, uh, Pistol Pete, pistol firing. Yeah, man. Look, Mario, I already got the game downloaded. I already bought it. Like I'm just waiting for the date to show up so I can play. Car operates well under pressure and when receivers actually run their routes. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't agree with that one right there because he's always had issues when he's been under pressure. He doesn't operate well under pressure. He does not. That was like one of his biggest issues. Like he gets happy feet when he senses pressure around him, and that ain't me just saying it. That's his former teammates. And I'll never forget this. I tell this story quite often here on the State of the Saints podcast. Went to the combine, right? And this was during a time where the Saints were in negotiations with Derek Carr. And I was in a lobby of a hotel, and there was some Raider coaches that were sitting up in there with me. And, they asked me, he was like, where you from? And I was like, the state of the Saints. He was like, what's that? And I was like, I told him what it was. And he said, he was like, yeah, y'all trying to go after Derek Carr. And I said, yeah, something like that. And he snickered. And I was like, I said, what's funny? He was like, you'll see. And like I was like, okay, what I'm saying. I kind of, just kind of, smiled a little bit. But they have like different, opinions about him. And I also know, a former player that said when he has pressure around him, he crumbles. So to me, they have to fix his offensive line in order for him to be able to operate the way that he needs to. I think the offensive line, like I do think this. I will say this. There are some quarterbacks, if you give them a mediocre offensive line, they'll be able to take advantage of it. Like I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line was that great when Tom Brady was their quarterback. But Tom Brady got the ball out of his hands so quickly, like a defensive player couldn't get to him, couldn't sack him, right? Because he got the ball out so quick. Drew Brees, he can actually tell the offensive line the protections. Like he can put them in the best position to block for him, right? Or he can actually kind of dictate, okay, I got to get the ball out of my hand this quick, this fast, this. So with that being said, it's like, you know, quarterbacks and offensive linemen, they got to kind of work together. So I do feel like when it comes to like certain situations, like he gets, he can get happy feet. But that's what was told to me by a former teammate of his. And like I said, his coaches, like them kind of snickering a little bit, like when I said that the Saints were like they were saying the Saints were gonna be interested in him. That was just kind of, I was kind of taken back by that. Us Winston Knights could have told y'all that, but y'all were all on board with signing Carr, and there are receipts to prove it. You know, under pressure, that Carr be on the side of the road, hood raised up a smoke. T Dirty has like some of the most funny analogies, man. Oh my goodness, yeah. Actually, you're right. TJ Carr does need a good offensive line to succeed, like all other quarterbacks. That's not necessarily true though. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, that offensive line that he had was putrid. You know what I'm saying? Putrid, like horrible. And I know you remember like the year where Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl. Do you remember that game where Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans in that divisional game? 9 times he was sacked in that game, but they still found themselves in the Super Bowl. all I'm saying is like there are certain quarterbacks that can rise above bad offensive line play. Now you can make an argument and say that, hey, you know, you got it. All right, we'll call it back. You can say like, oh man, this team needs offensive linemen. Like quarterbacks, they need offensive linemen. You know, they need offensive linemen. But there's some that can actually play better, than expected where the offensive line they ain't looking like nothing. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But I want to say thank you all for checking out this morning edition here, Sports Talk with TJ Jones. I wouldn't even call it an episode of the State of the Saints today. We're just basically just answering questions and just speaking with you all. But thank you all for tuning in. I ask that you hit the like button if you enjoy the content. You got previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Make sure that you go to youtube.com and search Gumbo Pot Sports Podcast. Once again, July 1st, we'll have the first episode. It's going to be a sports variety show where we talk about some of the hottest topics in football, college football, NFL football, what have you. So make sure you subscribe to that channel. Thank you all so much. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?